Welcome to Feisty Chess. I've been paired as white against Gisisi. There's 12 different ways to try to pronounce that. It's a 10-5 game. We've got a Scandinavian Defense. We'll go with knight c3 and see where black goes. a5, the usual. I'm going to get my bishop on c4. And then I play just d3. Most Scandinavian players are going to know the lines with d4 pretty well. d3 is more modest in that it's not putting a pawn in the center, but it's also more ambitious in that the bishop is looking at this f7 point. Is g3 the right play here? Sorry, f3. Is f3 the right play here? I'm going to go with knight to f3, I think. Also got knight e2. Okay, I'm going with f3 just to keep a little bit of initiative here. I'll have to look at this and see what the book lines are. I feel like that's a scenario where there's one clear best answer, but I didn't have time to really find it. But f3 limits black's options, some also limits my options. But my bishop is already outside the pawn chain. Okay, now h4 produces a subtle threat to trap that bishop. But I'm not sure I want to commit to that just yet. h4, h6 might be the only way to save that bishop. g4, bishop g6, h5, bishop h7. Looking like a Caro-Kann. Let's just make black's queen a bit nervous. Bishop d2, give him some discoveries to think about. Okay. Now I think knight d5 looks very strong. Knight d5, and at the very least, I'll be able to take on f6, and he'll have to capture with his g-pawn. I'm also threatening some forks on c7. Let's do it and see how black responds. It's a useful bishop on c4. Makes this all possible. I think queen c5 is the only choice here, and then b4 might be a nice try. b4. He's got to go queen d6. I'm not sure what b4 is really gained, especially since I might need to castle on that side. Is there anything? Well, that'll kick him off that diagonal anyway. Let's go ahead for that capture. Maybe knight h3, threatening knight to f4. I want to leave e2 open for the queen. And the knight could come to f2. Knight h3 looks good. Getting low on time here. I've got to play a little more quickly. Queen e2 runs into knight d4 now. Is c3 what I need to do? That runs into knight e5. c3, queen e3 check, queen e2. Okay, that should be fine. You know, I actually like this knight f2 plan. Then we can castle kingside. Or alternately, I've got knight d5 options that might restrict white's play some. Can I get away with knight d5 here? f5. f4 doesn't work. That pawn's pinned. f5 bishop c3. The knight d5 is if he takes here, I've got bishop c3. This looks just tricky enough. Let's do it. f5 is met by bishop c3. Both of those moves are met by bishop c3 here. Okay, now I think I can just castle. That was a clever move. I like that counter pin. But I can just castle. Can't I? Ooh. Big boo-boos here. I'm okay, right? Yeah, I should be okay. Wild game already. It's a little later in the day here. In the evening, I should say. And he needs to take on c3 with the bishop. And then I recapture on c3 with a knight, and actually looks like a pretty decent position. Got rook e1 coming. Actually, my pieces are somewhat better. Let's propose a trade. He's got a pretty lousy bishop on h5. Then at queen c5 check. Probably just queen f2. No, I really want to trade, he says. Same response for queen d4 check. I got my compact pawn structure. I'd love to enter an endgame here. I'd like to think my pieces are better. Okay. Let's get those rooks active. Knight d4, I can just play queen f2. Let's do it. He's looking pretty solid, I have to admit. Let's just get out of the pin quickly. Maybe knight b5 is in the cards next. That bishop of his is super awkward. It actually gets in the way of an attack. Okay. Yeah, knight b5. Let's try to simplify. What you want to do when you're low on time. Can I go for queen a? That rook is protected. Queen a7 I'm looking at. There is a definite logic to it. Let's go for it. I'll get 2 pawns for the piece and a very shaky white king. Let's just try to open some lines here. If he tries queen e7, I've got queen e5 check, picking up the rook in the corner. He knows this. He's got queen g7 if he needs to triple. Let's just grab some pawns here. If he goes for this, it's very complicated. He does. And my queen's guarding this. He's also guarding that, which is nice. Ooh, I've missed this. Oh, that's an excellent move. Well played. I have nothing but this. Nicely done. However you say that username. Okay. Well, that's what I get for playing 2 games in a day. Thought I had some nice ideas. Let's look at the computer stuff. I didn't play quick enough. That's the bottom line here. I did not play quick enough to make the most of that attack. 10-5 is a very different proposition from 15-10. I think the more 10-5 games I play, the more I bring down my rating. Likes black. Let's look at it from the opening. Yeah, this approach here likes knight e2. I wonder if knight f3 is here. F3 has not been tried. How bad could it be? About equal. Computer likes g3 here. The main move is d4. g3. That's not one that I'm familiar with. Yeah, the Scandinavian is a good opening to really get your opponents into your book. I played an unorthodox variation. It's probably, well, I'm good here. Oh, that ruins it. Bishop b4. I looked at bishop b4, but I thought, no, his queen could just take with check. Yeah, look at this. This is beautiful. Bishop b4, I missed a real chance because the knight covers it. I did not see that F backwards knight move. Now queen c6, and I don't have bishop b5 because, no, I do. I have bishop b5. Problem is, he's got this check, and I've got c3. This is super wild. Knight c5 is the best. Knight takes d5 is the best he's got. Now I've got this check. Knight takes, and this. Bishop g6, interesting. I think you'd want to take with one of these knights. Only a plus 1.4 advantage. I've only really given up 2 pieces for the queen. So I'm a piece up, more or less. Really surprising that this is just a pawn and a half advantage. Probably pretty tough for white to play then. Take that knight before you can castle long and put more pressure on this. Actually, this calls for bishop here. Strengthen that pawn, but he can come here anyway. Knight e2. Just got to give up on that pawn. Hope my queen prevails in the long run. Giving up on a couple of pawns here. This is no good. Queen b3. Yeah, that's tougher than it looks. Reminds me of the chess bra opening, the England gambit with the queen sacrifice for the bishop and knight and pawn. Because basically, right now, black has a bishop and a knight and a pawn. I missed my chance there. Had the tactics. I was spending a lot of time here, but I did not see bishop b4 was possible. I saw that it was a move, but I ruled it out because I didn't see that my knight protected it. So the old backwards move gets me every time. Okay, even from here, slight advantage to white, but really I've got the pawn structure advantage, but that open g file ended up being a c3. Just play c3. I didn't want d3 to become weak. But honestly, it's more important to shut that knight down, and I can play bishop back here and then ultimately d4. When I end up in those kind of positions, it's kind of like, why didn't I just play d4 to begin with? And that's why d4 is the main line, I suppose. But d3 holds the center, holds onto this bishop in case of tactics, especially if I'm going to castle on this diagonal. And it holds on to e4 a little better. So knight f2 here. And knight e4 is the move. f4. Wow. Okay, that's super wild. Bishop takes d1. Take this queen. You don't want to go for this, because here comes a knight check. d4. d4. Okay, bishop f4. Hold on to that pawn. And we're actually... Oh, he's got an escape. h5. I'm looking at this here. Try to trap that bishop, but it's not going to work. Bishop h6. Take. Take, and now isn't this bishop trapped? Knight takes e5. Oh, my knight's hanging. Okay. Interesting. What does it think of my move, bishop c3? Not completely terrible. Bishop b4, played very quickly by black. Takes, knight takes. Okay, it likes black better here. This open, you know, he hasn't castled yet. He's going to be able to castle queenside, that open g file. Yeah, this is a classic case of me overestimating. And I used to be better about this. When I learned chess, I learned doubled pawns as a weakness way too early. Doubled pawns are really hard to exploit as a weakness, especially when there's rooks and queens on the board. Because look at all the activity this can give his pieces, this open file. Who cares about doubled pawns? After all, these are very strong. And they actually shut down my bishop on the light squares and my knight here. So just looking at a position like this and saying, oh, black's got doubled pawns and white has a compact structure, as I was doing. And I also looked at this bad bishop. Underestimated the threats on the g file. Okay, okay. Bishop c4. Yeah, c6 was a bad move. It loosened up the king side a bit, and bishop c4 would have been better. And maybe if b5, then we go in for some of this. I mean, that might be better than the computer doesn't like it. But now if he tries to take the bishop, we just open up a file to the black king. It's got to be good. Now we got a perpetual. Because black doesn't want to step on this file because he'll get checked by a rook here. I can't take this rook because obviously this mate threat. Okay. Put this way. Did I ever have a big advantage here? A4, B4, Queen D6 check. Doesn't like my decision to take that pawn. Queen D6 check. King goes to E8. Queen B8 check. Ah, well, he's got Queen D8 here. I've got this. And my pawns might actually be worth more than this bishop, because now I can make this bishop. And if it just goes here, I'm grabbing a pawn with check. But he's going to get his king to safety. But in the meantime, I've got I got 3 full pawns for that piece. And the king getting to safety also slows his attack some, so I just start marching. It wouldn't be surprising if, as we played these computer moves out, the computer liked white better and better. But, okay, that was maybe a better way to follow up. Queen D6. I wonder if just defending like this is the thing to do here. We go for some kind of perpetuals. Yeah, there's a lot of perpetuals here. Okay. Well, I didn't have time to think through all this, but this was very well done. I love this. It's always nice to be on this end of a kind of a mate. It's a threat right now. So I've got to try to go for perpetuals here. King e7, queen b4 to keep him from wriggling to f8. Well, actually, he can go to f8 if he wants to. He can never go to g7 because I'll just grab here. Does this work just as well? Oh no, he won't. I won't just grab there, but it could produce an interesting imbalance. Yeah, queen takes, and king takes. Really like black here, probably because, well, there's some concrete continuation. Okay, so that's why perpetual demands. Where do we go here? Check on b4, king e8, queen b5. Now king f8, and we check on b4 again. Oh, he can't go here because I'll just grab and I'm not being attacked by a rook. But he's got queen e7 here. This is a perpetual. It says minus. The computer evaluation is winning for black, but oh no, you can still force this kind of line. Okay, it's getting late. I'm not in shape for this right now. All right, stay feisty, folks. It was a loss, but it was a fun one. I enjoyed this game. I'll see you next time.